for shirts too. I've just been slacking a lot lately. It's
Well, you're a busy
I
guy.
got shit. Yeah, and I got stuff going on. Trying
I
to trying to be a dad
I
and
I just
you
got
know.
sent. I think I sent out a bunch of shirts the other day, but it's been like months since I said I was gonna do it. But I just fell down a fucking rabbit hole of like, is this real life? Like you start looking at your hand, and then you start trying to think if you can run through a wall, so you start running towards the wall.
you know, I had a guy that won a shirt in a raffle like back in November, and I just got it shipped out in like February. He just got it the other day, so I'm a little behind on my free merch right now. But April is going to be a good month to catch up on all this type of stuff. So March was a real good month for me, and well, it had its ups and downs. Let's say that, but business wise, it was a good month for me. Health wise, it was a little crazy, but
What
other than that,
What's your favorite month?
my favorite month is March
Is that because your
because it's
birthday?
my yeah. I
You
don't celebrate
fucking.
like typical. Well, so I don't celebrate traditional holidays. Like I don't celebrate Christmas, Easter, any of those kind of things. The only
What?
holidays that the only holidays that me and my family really celebrate are birthdays. So when birthdays happen, it's like a month long celebration for us.
Passover?
We go, uh, kind of like there are some Jewish holidays that I kind of get into, but you know, my
It's good to
we
have
could go down a
questions.
rat. We
It's good to
Yeah,
have
we could.
questions.
Yeah, we could go down a big rabbit hole with this. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
I
I
could
walk
offend
by,
a lot
like
of people.
I walk by some things and I'm like, that's supposed to be orphans' blood splattered across the. I was like, what religion is that again? Catholic. Stay away from that one.
Right, exactly. People don't realize it. They don't put in the due diligence it takes to study what the holidays are that they're celebrating, and so we put these cute little labels on them. We've got these modern cute labels for all these really fucking nasty, horrible, like religious pagan rites that took place thousands of years ago, and all these religions are basically based on them. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, what
I don't
religion
know.
in your mind is probably the one you hate them, or not religion, not religion, not taking that back. Holiday. What holiday is the worst in your mind?
God, like it's got to be Christmas. Christmas
What?
has got to be the word. Yes,
That's where
absolutely. When you,
we did a podcast on Christmas Eve. What do you mean you hate
I know.
Christmas?
Well, we didn't talk about it then. But there's so if you study the roots of where Christmas really came from, it's not a good holiday.
It's a fat
There's
guy
a
breaking into people's houses and eating their schnitzel bread and their cookies and their Hanukkah sticks.
well, it goes much older than that. It's back like Babylonian, Sumerian times and stuff like that. And they the well, I think really the when you start like looking into the real roots of like where Christmas came from, you start finding like it was
Don't
a
do that.
Russian Druid holiday that
Don't do that.
took place up in Siberia. The reason why we have red and white is because of the mushrooms that they would trip off of, and
Yeah.
they would have these
Fly
crazy
algaric
like
mushrooms.
bestiality. Yeah, and then they would have like these crazy like bestiality rituals with reindeer and children and shit like that. And
Bohemian Grove. What else you got? Come on.
right, right. I mean, it's very similar to that, dude. Thank you
I
for that, dude. I've been trying to think of the name of Bohemian Grove since the
Yes.
last time we talked.
Let's start our own cult. Why? What's stopping you? Why? Everyone on social media is starting a cult. You know how many podcast networks I've been invited to, and I'm like, I'm not into your cult. You have certain things, restrictions. You have to be 5'8". You have to be able to jack off with two hands. I'm like, I fucking give me a break.
Right.
I want something with morals. Let's create something with morals.
Right, absolutely. And there's none. There are none. Like, I don't care if you're talking about, and I'm going to offend a lot of people right now, but I don't care if you're talking about the Catholic religion, the Christian religion, the Muslim religion. When you study the roots of these, they all go back to Babylonian religions, man. They all go back to the enlightened ones,
I
the fucking
respect the Catholic religion on one aspect is that they're not going to change their shit. I don't give a
right.
shit. Like I don't care. Like a bunch of people were freaking out because they wouldn't bless gay people. But what they're doing
Hmm.
is the priests that won't bless those gay people, they just move them to another section of the Vatican. And I'm like, at least you're honest about your shit. Like be a
Right.
I think
I don't care who you worship. I don't care what you believe in, as long as you can back that up. Like there are so many people that are like, well, I'm Catholic. Well, why are you Catholic? Well, because I was raised that way. Okay, but have you studied the fucking religion? Have you
Let's
read the book?
let's start a cult where when people try and join our cult's all about leaving everybody, like Dudism, leaving everybody the fuck alone. But when people try and join, you're like, no, leave me the fuck alone. And then it's like, we have no members. It's just, you say you are, you say you're not. There's no real members, no initiations, no blood rituals, no sacrifices. Maybe
That's really the way it ought to be.
we should sacrifice our cell phone. To join, you have to break your iPhone.
That would be a good religion. I would be down for that. Have you seen the new Kona commercial? The
Doesn't
Kona
mean
Brewing
anything.
commercial? Yeah, it's a new Kona Brewing commercial. And so like
O'Brien?
Kona Brewing, it's a beer. And so
Oh,
on this commercial, they talk about like everybody has like this thing where they put the only time that they're disconnected is when they put their phones on airplane mode.
yeah.
And then they have Kona mode where they're out on the beach and like nobody has a cell phone and they're all drinking beers and they're just, and it's like, why don't we do that? You can't go to a beach party and find somebody not on their phone.
Because it's humid as fuck. Like, what do you mean? It's like 90, it's humid, it's cold, it might be chilly. It's got somebody's always got to do something. I mean, look, I sat on my back porch and I tried to soak up some sun. After a while, I was watching Hulu because it was just too damn boring. But I mean, even if you look at the commercials, for instance, I watched the commercials from 1980 Nickelodeon all the way to 2021, basically today.
Mm.
And the commercials were like 5 minutes long for just a little part to say Nickelodeon. It was like 5 minutes of like all these crazy designs and birds flying through, people waving to their neighbors. Hey, what are you watching? I'm watching Nickelodeon. There was a whole song to it. And then by the time it got like every 10 years, it just got slower. Like it got quicker and quicker and quicker. By the time it hit 2021, it was like Nickelodeon. And that was it. And I was like, why is that? Why did that happen? And my buddies, like people's attention spans, they got shorter. I was like, that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, I've noticed that today. Like it's just from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. It's this consumerism attitude and behavior that we exhibit. Excuse me. It's like we see something and we gotta have it and we go get it, and then like it's put on a shelf and the very next thing comes out and we're like, oh, we gotta have that, and it gets put on a shelf, and then I gotta have that, I gotta have that, I gotta have that. And it's this perpetual cycle of like nobody's happy with the shit they have, nobody's happy with the shit they they're doing, and they're looking for something more. And
But hold on, the rush of wanting something changes depending on what that thing is. Like you don't want a guy who's building airplanes to rush his job, because you'll have people fucking go in Southwest and then fucking never be found again. Or people fixing your car. You want them to hurry up, but you don't want the guy who makes your car to speed up the process.
Well, that's the thing, is we all want it done right now, right now, right now. But then we want to bitch about it when it's not done right, and I get it. I want to be the only person that is being served. You know what I mean? I want your full attention. I want you dedicated to my project. And when my project is done, go deal with the next person. I get that. Okay, whatever. But it can't be that way because there's 10,000 people in line. You know what I mean? So we can't necessarily always have what we want when we want it. You know what I mean? And that's the pervasive attitude of the culture. And if people don't get it, they throw fits. It's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't get it. I've discovered recently that I'm a consumer. And I'm educated about the shit, you know what I mean? And I still find myself blowing money on stupid shit that I don't need, don't want, and just sets and piles up. And for what? So I can go to the next rush. Oh, I got to go get something else. Oh, I got to run to the store. I have everything I could possibly use. I can't think of anything that I need, but I can go to the store right now and buy something. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm bored.
Isn't that fun though?
Some money.
It fills the time up. You ever just walk around Walmart and just fucking walk around Walmart just to walk around Walmart?
I used to. Not anymore, like these days I try and get in and out as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, I get it, but like there's not other things that can pass the time besides sitting in Walmart spending money. Like use the shit we already have.
I've been thinking about traveling, but I can't do that because now they're doing vaccine passports. So you have to have a vaccine to get a passport.
Right. Yeah, that's bullshit.
Sorry, I'm not ready yet. You're telling me the vaccine's going to be this, and then you're still fearing a third wave? Well, what's the fucking point of taking it if it's not done yet?
And with the way it is, like people are developing like weird symptoms and shit from getting the vaccine. My father-in-law got it recently.
It's
Um,
fear. Fear is creating these symptoms. That's all it is that you're
it can
seeing
be.
so much different information that it's programming, man. It's a fucking
It's absolutely programming.
I was listening to Jim Brewer on a Joe Rogan podcast, and that man, you know him, he's a stoner, he's a funny, positive guy. I've
Yep.
never seen him act this way before. He was very serious and very angry. He goes, "This is a fucking task on humanity's mind. It's program." Kelly, sit the fuck down. What are you doing?
Sorry, man. It's 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning, man. I'm trying to open a muffin here. I have to go to the gas station, remember?
What'd you
So I'm
get? Did
trying
you
to
get
get
a
my muffin.
Spudberry? Did you get a Spudberry?
I got a, what is this? This is a,
Blueberry, banana nut?
it's blueberry
Yes.
Pleasant Hill Ovens. I wanted Otis Spunkmeyer, but they didn't have it there.
That's the best one.
So I guess, yeah. So I guess this is the next best thing, whatever. It looks like an Otis Spunkmeyer. We're about to find out if this is good.
It's
I doubt it is.
You ever had the little bite muffins, the ones that are like 12 to a pack?
Mm-hmm.
Those suck dick.
Yes, they have fake blueberries in them.
It's not even that. It's just that they're too small. You eat the whole thing. I want an actual muffin where I can like bite off the top and stuff. Like, you ever eat the candy robin eggs?
Yes.
It's like you're eating fucking actual robin eggs. Like, what sick fuck created those? Think it through. I bit one into the other day and I was like, this could be a baby bird. It's like shrimp in my Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They're feeding me baby bird eggs.
That's a strange thought to have, my friend.
There was an old
this
show.
Is a full-size muffin, as you can see.
You took a big chunk out. It looks like a fucking
Oh.
swirl of turd on the top.
Dude, this thing is delicious.
Does
actually,
it still have the wrapping on it?
Yeah, it's still got the wrapping on it.
Take the sucker off.
Well, I will whenever I get down there, man. I don't want to get that stuff over my hands.
I judge a man on how he eats his muffin, and you're eating it like a psych. That's a psychopath. That's a Mr. Rogers kill. You just ate part of the plastic. I just watched that.
There it is. It's still there.
There's pieces missing.
So funny story, dude. When I was like in kindergarten, I had this is the only memory I have of kindergarten. I had this friend named Clay. And if you're out there watching or listening, Clay, I miss you. I love you. We haven't seen each other in 40 years, dude. But we used to sit and eat all the cupcake wrappers during snack time. People would take their cupcake wrappers off and we would eat the motherfuckers.
Oh my God. You would eat the wrappers?
Yes. We would eat the fucking wrappers. That's like the only memory I have of kindergarten. Other than that, and I had a teacher named Mrs. Jarvis that I had a crush on. She was so cute.
Jesus sees all. Jesus sees all. You're gonna be judged for your sins for eating muffin. I would hate to meet. All right, so Easter is like my favorite time to go shopping because I have a very, very bad thing that I told you about. I'm pretty sure I've sent you videos about. You're eating it like an animal. Oh my God. What the fuck? Like, I'm sorry.
I'm holding the phone in one hand. I have a headset on, dude. I'm trying here.
You're like Jaws when that shark is eating that man on the boat. But I have a very bad habit. I'm pretty sure I sent you a video of one time where I break one candy in the wrapper in the store. Oh my God, it's Easter time. Oh, I'm walking through the aisles. It's crush. Manager at Walmart was like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like crushing candy in the wrapper. She's like, can you not? I'm like, I probably could stop doing it, but I'm going to keep doing it because this is what I get out of life. This is the only reason to live.
Tell you, I'm playing Candy Crush. What the fuck?
It's like, hey, I did Candy Crush before it was cool.
Right, exactly.
People look at me as a psychopath because it's not on a phone and you don't get a next level. It's just you get arrested.
Right.
I picture you going into stores and just like eating the tops off every single muffin instead of just eating the bottoms. It's the good part.
There's truth to that, bro. The top of the muffin is the best part of the muffin.
It's because it's glazed.
Yes.
It's like really smooth. Like, you ever burn sand?
Oh yeah.
Turns into like glass a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not the worst thing I've ever shoved in a toaster oven. Sand.
Yeah. That's weird.
I didn't mean to. I was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that I brought back from the beach, and I guess I didn't finish it, so I decided to heat it up in my toaster oven, and there was sand in it, and it was like melted like the sand.
You're kind of lucky because, almost 100% of all sandwiches contain no sand.
unless you go to the beach.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, you're
I would
lucky.
have.
You got a
What do you mean
sandwich with sand in
100%?
it.
100% of no sandwiches contain
Almost,
sand.
almost, almost 100% of sandwiches contain no sand.
I'm pretty sure I could change. My whole life has been 100% mostly sand in my sandwiches. And I don't know how the fuck it happens.
So you're the lucky 1% that actually gets a sandwich.
No, I just get fucked in life. I think there's just like I have this talent where it's like everything that happens to this kid is going to be so random and so crazy weird that it's just going to always going to produce a good story every single time.
You know, I live under the condition of Murphy's law. Basically, if it can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong.
Who's
And I,
Murphy and
it's,
how can I sue him?
dude, I would love to fucking put a fucking suit against Murphy for this bullshit.
What that you're eating the rapper now?
I'm not eating the wrapper.
Is this gonna be
I
your
feel
muffin episode? Like, how you
I feel
folded it down like a damn taco, you animal.
exactly. That's right. It's I could say it's sitting on my drill press. I don't have a table in the shop,
Oh
so
my god.
there
What
we
is your
go.
life?
That's
You're
why.
eating a muffin next to a drill press. Do you ever
Dude,
just look at your life and be like, how did I end up here? Like I had that when I was eating a thing of animal crackers with a bottle of screwball whiskey in my underwear. And I was like, what is my life? What am I doing? Like most people are out there like doing vlogs and video streaming, and I'm just sitting playing Viva Pinata, a game made for fucking 8-year-olds. And I'm just enjoying every aspect of life.
Drinking your underwear liquor and fucking eating your weird snacks.
I love it when people are like, oh, you're drinking alone. That's so sad. I'm like, I'm enjoying my fucking self watching Hulu. And I can get freaky if I decide I want to start fucking masturbating. I can do it. I don't have to wait
Right?
and go home. Take a fucking Uber and shit.
You know, when I drink alone. That's
I
a
like,
really good song.
someone told me that I should go get help for my depression. I was like, I don't want to help with it. I want to deal with those emotions. And everyone's like, fuck that. I'm like, I want to confront my demons.
Why bother, man? We can just take a pill and forget it all.
But that's not fun.
Well,
And it makes
I
you
guess
mindless.
it's subjective, man. Look around. Everybody else seems to think it's fun.
Everyone's high. I thought the theory of why people love Disneyland so much is like they're getting doped in the food. But did you see everyone's getting upset that Disneyland has new regulations now that you can't
No screaming on
scream?
the rides.
How the fuck is that possible? I scream
Dude.
when I'm late to go to the bathroom. If I have to pee really bad, I'll start screaming.
You know, the happiest place on earth just became like the quietest place on earth for children to be. I don't understand it. You know, like we have all these children's rights, but children aren't allowed to scream when they're having fun. Okay.
It's kind of like if you take away all the mice that are running around, or at least reduce their size, and then you put up chain linked fences around Disneyland, it starts to kind of look more like one of those concentration camps.
Dude, it matches. It kind of has that feel to it. I've seen a few of them in person. There's a nice one in Albuquerque you can go visit on the corner of like Eubank and Copper.
What, a nice concentration camp or a nice Disney World?
Yeah, nice future concentration camp. It looks a lot like Disney World. I mean, it's not got rides or anything like that, but it's got the same fence layouts and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting.
It's
interesting
like
when you compare the two.
Jim Brewer mentioned about society being enslaved by like CNN and all that. And he goes, when they're all screaming at and saying all these different types of things on the internet, imagine if you just change the language to, oi, I schneid, why schneck, and just have it going in this weird rants, and it would sound a lot more better. Like people will be like, okay, now I see how it's turning into like this enslavement thing. That's what's fucking the news is now.
Yeah. Absolutely. Drive-by media is fucking, there's no fact checking that goes on in the media. They report whatever they want, whenever they want. Half of it's drama entertainment. Is just bullshit, man. I don't know. We may have talked about this last time you and I talked. I don't know, but
we talk a lot.
The video games, we do. The video games in school. Did we talk about that? Like they have these video game stations at the colleges here.
Yeah, you told me that.
The stress relief, because it's all edutainment. It's all about entertainment. It's not about education. It's not about being right. It's not about learning. It's about how can we entertain ourselves? How can we entertain the fucking kids? How can we fucking and that's all it's ever been about, I mean, like you look at things, like for the last 50 years in college, if you went to go study paleontology, you were going to learn that dinosaurs were these giant, terrible lizards. That's what the name dinosaur means. But now we've discovered that they're chickens. They're more akin to birds. So somebody imagined something and they thought it was right. And then they just entertained everybody with these fucking awesome stories in college for the last 50 years. If you went to college to be a paleontologist
You
or a
just got to
geologist,
start creating lies now. We just got to start creating as many conspiracy theories as possible until the world starts saying, no, I've had enough.
nobody will, though. I mean, guys like you and I say, no, we've had enough, but I don't know, man. 80% of the people out there who listen to this podcast are going to think I'm a fucking nut job because I talk shit about fucking religion. I talk shit about Christmas.
That's not
I talk
why.
shit about the
That's not
fucking.
why. You're eating a
It's because of how I
goddamn
ate my
muffin on a
muffin.
drill press. That's why. That was
Well, you know.
intense. Most people are like, I'm going to go get a McMuffin at McDonald's, but you're like, I want to eat a fucking muffin on a drill press. That's going to be a shirt, muffin on a drill press.
Maybe that'll be the shirt that I send you in April.
Talk about a muffin on a drill press. Muffin on a drill press. And start dancing. Honestly, I like, but to think that like your life folded out this way, I mean, are you upset with the outcome? Are you happy with the outcome? Because like honestly, I look at it like I'm having fucking fun now that I realize it's all kind of bullshit.
Well, I kind of have fun with the outcome. I try to have fun with the outcome, but it's a serious outcome. Like the bullshit that's going on in the world is serious and it's scary shit, man, because it's fucking like, it's like reading George Orwell's 1984 and living in it. They're changing the language. They're canceling shit. They're getting rid of things they don't like.
Yeah, but we're seeing
Speedy
pushback about
Gonzalez.
we're seeing pushback about the cancellation thing though, because I think people are starting to have their foot go down because now everything has been. See, this is my prediction of everything, and I predicted a lot of shit so far. You have to give me some credit on some of this stuff that I predicted, but the line I said it. People are going to start pushing back because now they're talking about guardrails on the internet. Well, the guardrails aren't going to be just drawn at QAnon. They're going to go farther and farther and farther until they hit like you can't call somebody fat, you can't do this. And in some cases, you shouldn't be like that, but you also can't limit people's words of speech.
You know, you can't. It doesn't matter whether it's right or wrong. People have the right to say shit. You know, and if you don't like it, you have the right to be offended by it. But you also have the right to fucking walk away and not fucking make it a obvious point that you're offended by something that somebody else said. You know what I mean? There's two things that are very prevalent in our modern day culture that fucking just really bite my balls, man. And number one is I have the right to offend you no matter what. You can't stop me from offending you. I can offend you if I want to. The only way you're going to stop me is if you knock my fucking teeth out of my head. And even then, I'm probably going to say something offensive to you. We don't stop to think about how the words that we're going to use are going to interact, are going to, have what effect they're going to have on people, how somebody else is going to take those words. You know, we don't stop to like process our thoughts. We just say whatever the fuck comes to our mind because I'm an American. I have the right to fucking talk. Well, yeah, you do have the right to talk. That's great. Just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that you should do something. Okay. It's oftentimes better to be silent and considered a fool than to open your mouth and prove yourself to be one. But number two is on top of like, I can offend anybody I want to, it's I can be offended by anything I want to. Stop being offended by shit. It's just somebody's opinion. So fucking what? If you don't like what they're saying, don't listen to it. But they have the right to fucking say it, you know? And that's where we're like experiencing this breakdown, I think, in modern day culture. Absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to suppress or oppress things, it's going to end up like how the Vatican is, where like forever it was stereotyped or talked about that church was doing horrible stuff. And then now people started looking into it and be like, oh, wait, it's true. It's like, yeah, they're suppressed people because you're asking like, what, you have to do this all for God? You have to all give this to a deity or deity, whatever that you can't see. And it's not to mess with religion or anything, but it's the idea of like, when you tell people they can't do something, there's always that initial growth of this pain of them wanting to be able to do that just because you said that they can't. You know, telling people they can't say something is going to cause people to want to say it even fucking more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I made a post the other day and I don't know if you saw it or not, but it said something about the effect of like those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. And right now in this cancel culture that we have, we're just erasing all of our mistakes instead of learning from them. We're not having an open discussion about the mistakes. We're just like, oh, this is offensive, get rid of it. Oh, this is racist, get rid of it. Oh, this is fucking sexist, get rid of it. Okay, so get rid of it. And then we don't remember it in 10 years, and then we repeat the shit, or 100 years, or 1,000 years, or whatever, however long it fucking takes for it to happen. The shit's going to happen. When we forget about slavery, people will become enslaved. When we forget that we did this things to people, instead of discussing the horrible things that we've done to people, to each other as human beings, and not just, people. When I discuss slavery, I'm not talking about, the last 400 years. I'm talking about the last 4,000 years. I'm talking about Nubian slaves in Egypt and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is all learned behavior. This isn't something that's exclusive to fucking something that happened in America 400 years ago. This is something that's taken place and still takes place in cultures all around the world today. Fucking enslavement of people. We have child sex slaves. We have fucking human trafficking. We have fucking, you name it, man. And fucking it's going on. And by erasing it and just getting rid of it, like, oh, we don't want to see this. We don't want to have this. We're not doing anything except for opening doors to the people who want to do this type of stuff.
When do you think the
They're going to
downhill
do it
started?
behind closed doors.
When do you think the downhill started? Because there used to be a show back in the day called Your Mom Jokes or whatever, Your Mom. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. And it had like Fez was the host of it. The guy who played Fez, whatever his name is.
Fez was the host, but it was all
yeah.
Your Mama jokes. But you can't say that
Yeah.
now. Like, when did the declines? When did Pimp My Ride now become like this racist thing? Like, Pimp My Ride used to be a crazy show with Exhibit. But now it's like, oh, you don't want a Hummer with a hot tub anymore, so we're gonna. It's offensive. It's like, when did the decline start? Because I'm trying to pinpoint where people started getting insane, and I think it hit the line of maybe the fact of like, I would probably say when they started figuring out that human trafficking was linked to a lot of people in the government. They're like, wait a minute, they're trafficking kids in there.
In the beginning. So yeah, if you want my honest opinion, I think that the deprivation of mankind, the decline of mankind, started when we were engineered. We were engineered with flaws. We were engineered, with an evil nature. It almost seems, like you said a while ago, when you tell people they can't do something, it's almost like they just want to do it. When people tell me I can't do something, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. Why do I care? Why do I need to go to that door? Somebody may be telling me I can't go to that door because there's something bad on the other fucking side. Do I really need to go see it? Do I really need to fucking get hit by a train to fucking know that somebody tells me don't get hit by a train?
Yes.
And it's, like, do I have to experience that for myself in order to fucking understand that that's a bad thing? So, and, it just boils down to common sense. People are like, oh, well, I can't do this. Said I can't do this. Watch me. I'm going to do it. My favorite thing in the world to do when I'm feeling down is I go to YouTube and I look up the term idiots with chainsaws. And it makes me wonder how people have lived on this planet for the last 250,000 years, how we have not like driven ourselves into a complete extinction. We do the stupidest shit possible. Dumbest things you can ever imagine. Go try it sometime. Go to YouTube when we're done here and just look up idiots with chainsaws and watch a half hour worth of videos and just think about what you're seeing. Think about what you're watching people do. This is 2021 and we still have people like idiots with chainsaws. And that's like, they're everywhere. They're fucking everywhere, man. And it's I try to have the utmost faith in humanity, and then I sit down and read like 30 seconds of news or listen to anything that fucking is considered like pop culture important right now, and I'm just like, wow, it blows me away. Like, I don't know. We're having the wool pulled over our eyes everywhere in every direction. We've got this like me attitude, this, consumerist behavior that like we were talking about earlier. And it's just, it is the decline. It's the decline of civilization, but it's been taking place it's an ongoing thing. You know what I mean? It's been happening since the beginning of time. And it just seems like because now we have internet or ways to transmit information between each other that seems like it's more prevalent nowadays. But I think we're just seeing it more nowadays is all. I don't think it's more prevalent. I don't think it's more of a of a of an issue. I think it's just something that's come to light more in the last 20 years because of the internet, because we have information transfer
It's
that happens at
scripted.
light speed. A lot of it is.
If you like look at like what I all right, so your search history is probably different from my search history. On the top of my search history is Mariah Carey, and then on like I start going down a little bit. It's like, did you know people have to shear sheep because their wool will keep growing and it actually makes them uncomfortable? Like it makes it like they have this
Yeah,
giant like 50-pound thing of wool on them. Well, then
I
after I
do.
was searching that, I started searching of people taking acid or taking psychedelic drugs, and then just listening to a bunch of people go, "Where's the script? Where's the script?" They're running around like everything around them is like programmed like a fucking movie. And I'm starting to realize with all this lockdown and all this like suppression and of people not being able to leave their homes and just watching movies 24/7, I'm seeing actions that you would see in a fucking film. Like movies that like
Bro,
that's how we learn from watching things around us, and people have been stuck inside
absolutely.
watching television, and now every single action they make is something that you would see on like a Tom Cruise fucking movie.
You're absolutely right. I've been having this argument with people for years. The debate about whether Grand Theft Auto should be allowed to be played by children under the age of 17.
Yeah, it should.
I don't think it should.
It gets the suppression out. I did a case
Well,
study in college about, do video games cause a kid to be violent? No, it can initially speed up something that's already there, but a kid like killing hookers in a video game is not going to cause a kid to want to go out and kill hookers. A kid only has that thought of shooting up a store or something, not just because of the video game, because that inherent thing is already inside of them. They were already thinking to do so.
well, I like to think of it like this, Robbie. If I go out and I eat nothing but chocolate all day, I will have diarrhea tomorrow.
That's not true. I
So,
haven't shit in 65 days. What's up? I had an Oreo
well,
yesterday.
99% of the time, though, like, you get what I'm saying? Like a normal person, you sit and you eat chocolate, you eat nothing but junk food all day, you're not going to feel well the next day. So you put garbage in, you get garbage out.
That's a
And it's the
different
same thing with our
example than the
mind.
gunshot
Yeah,
thing, though.
it's a great thing. It's a great example, though, of the mind. Because if whatever we consume, we produce. You know what I mean? If we are constantly in a violent state, in a state of like aggravation, we're going to be aggravated people. You're not going to be in a constant state of aggravation and you go out and be nice to other people. Excuse me. So the more garbage you take in, the more garbage you're going to put out. It's going to just naturally happen. I mean, the body works that way. You take in and you absorb it, and then you put out what you've seen or what you've
I don't
learned.
I don't think video games cross that boundary. I think that only comes when it happens in maybe realms of abuse. Like if you see a kid getting abused, then yeah, I could see him end up doing some psychotic things, but not when it comes to video games, because Grand Theft Auto 5 has been out for I think 10 years now. And just
2013. So yeah, going on like 8 years now.
so
But yeah.
just this year alone in 2021, there's been more mass shootings. So Grand Theft Auto had nothing to do with any of that new shit.
Well, not necessarily the new shit, but I mean, there's other things that I mean, Grand Theft Auto isn't the only game that's out there. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean? We've got Call
no,
of
there were
Duty,
no
we've got
killings
things
that
like
were
that.
increased after Grand Theft Auto, so I don't see video games really causing that type of thing. And considering that the most top trending video games now are fucking simulation games, like there's Lawnmower Simulator, where it's just mowing your fucking lawn. Like, go out and mow your real fucking lawn and make cash. Why are you gonna play a game where you mow fucking lawn? It sounds awful. But people buy it and people play it. It doesn't create violence and shit like that. I think
Well,
that
there's a
comes
there's a
from
second. I think
something
there's
else.
two. I think there's two sides of the coin. You know what I mean? I think if you already have that like you said, that innate desire to want to do that, it gives you the ability to practice. Okay, what you're going to do, it desensitizes you to some degree.
I will
However,
agree with
on the
you on
flip side,
hold on. I will agree with you on one thing. If I see a video of a person before they do a mass shooting and they start going duck, duck, jump, left, right, and they start doing like a cheat code type shit, then I'll agree with you.
well, see, on the flip side of this coin is it gives people a release. So, you know, there's days that I want to go out and just fuck people up. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I wake up in a bad mood or something happens and it puts me in a bad mood. And I'm just like, you know what? The next person who fucking talks to me, I'm going to knock their fucking block off. And then I go home and I fucking play some violent ass video games and I get it out of my system. And an hour later, I'm like, okay, I'm calm. I'm rationalizing shit in my mind. You know what I mean? Bro, it gives me time to cool down. So there's a flip side to that coin. You know what I mean? There are good aspects and there are bad aspects. But you're going to find that with anything. So, you know, like, yeah, certainly, you know, if if we have a psychotic person who's on the edge of a delusional break, you know what I mean? That could be the influence that pushes them to that next level.
But the real question is, what's the cause that's causing that psychoticness to happen? Because back in the day, it used to be,
Sure, I mean that could be
well, it used to be
a,
sprinkled into, it used to be sprinkled into most of the population. Like some people would have this weird psychotic snap, schizophrenia, whatever. There was a guy, and this broke my fucking heart hearing this. This dude was arrested for killing his girlfriend, and he didn't like intentionally kill his girlfriend. So what happened is he took a gun and he stuck it in his, he stuck it in his mouth to blow his head off, and his girlfriend grabbed him and moved him, and the gun moved and shot her in the head and killed her.
oh fuck.
And he got arrested and sent to jail for that. And like, it's just so fucking intense where I was like, man, there's something about it, whether it's depression, whether it's about being psychotic. A guy had killed his own mom, stabbed her because he thought that she was the devil. And then he was texting someone through Saturday who was on the show Saturday Night Live, and he thought that they were texting them, but it was all schizophrenia. So he shows up to the set and sends picture to his family. See, I told you I was going to be on Saturday Night Live. Then he was later tackled by security and found out that he killed his mom because they thought his mom was he thought his mom was the devil or something like that, trying to kill the whole family. And it was all bullshit. But there's something about the human mind when it comes to depression, when it comes to emotion, when it comes to what people take, different life experiences, all these different roads that we walk, these different things of abuse, environmental, genetic, all these things. What is speeding it up? Because it's speeding up. It's progressively being seen as now it's getting more people are experiencing this type of pain, frustration. More people are going to therapy than ever in history, not because it's showing signs of help, but it's because the human mind is, I think, becoming very, very malleable to a lot of crazy shit that's going on in the world. And right now, everything is ramped up to like 1,000.
Well, you know, it does. There's a lot of theories about it, man. You know, we could sit here and talk about like subliminal messaging and television programming, radio programming. There's a reason why they're called programming. You know what I mean? Because they program you to do certain things. That's why they were originally, you know, frequency, sound, and vibration play a huge part in matter. You know, every bit of matter in the universe owes its existence to frequency, sound, or vibration. And frequency, sound, and vibration all affect matter. You know what I mean? You can watch experiments that are done, like cymatic experiments. Dr. Emoji or whatever his name is, the Japanese guy. Yeah, it's weird. He's got a weird name. I think it's Dr. I think I want to say it's Dr. Emoji. But you can go look up like the water experiments that he did, where he would like tape words to like bottles of water and then crystallize it, and they would form like these, like if you put the word love on it, it would form these very pretty crystals, and then if you put like the word hate on it, it would form these like weird ass fucking like asymmetrical type crystals or
But
whatnot,
is that
and he would freeze them and take.
programming into our mind of what we want to see?
Well, I don't think so, because like, he carries the experiment further than even from what, just not just taping words to it, but he goes into actually like saying words to them, and the frequency, sound, and vibration all seem to affect the water material. You know, the matter in water, the hydrogen and oxygen molecules, they make specific shapes because of that. Now we also see that same thing, like you can do it with sand, you can do it with other things, and whenever you introduce frequency or vibration into these things, you can see the way that the physical properties change in these items. And that's the same thing with us. You know, an example I like to use is war drums. For thousands of years, tribes have used war drums to incite violence amongst their people. And we see it with sexual rites. We see it with other types of things, you know, these parties that go on, these ancient, you know, rites and ritual type things. And they all involve music. They all involve some sort of frequency, sound, vibration. And, you know, I mean, this is stuff that, like, when you start studying it, man, it goes back thousands of years, you know, like to the times of the pyramids, before the time of the pyramids, you know, that we understand them as, you know, the resonance chambers and shit like that. And those things were designed that way for a reason, because frequency, sound, and vibration affects matter. You know, that's why there's like, you get these guys out there who are talking about the 5G syndrome and shit like that. And that's distinctly possible because we are an electromagnetic individual. People, you know, we as people are electromagnetic individuals. We run off a 7.2 hertz frequency approximately. It's a very smooth waveform. And it ranges, you know, people, there's, you know, like a 1 hertz range that people operate on and stuff like that. So whenever you introduce certain types of sound waves to that frequency, you disturb that frequency. We run on electromagnetic frequency, and whenever you introduce sound waves, it creates a new frequency. When you introduce vocal waves, it changes matter. It changes the way that we are about things. You can set and say the same, like mantras. People have mantras, and the reason why mantras work for people is because that frequency, sound, and vibration affects the matter after a period of time. You get like guys like Jim Carrey sat down one night and wrote himself a $10 million check. And then he would go every night out to the Hollywood sign and look at that check and repeat a mantra to himself. I'm going to make $10 million. I'm going to cash this check. I'm going to cash this check. I'm going to cash this check. Almost 4 years to the day later, after writing that check, he was signed to Dumb and Dumber for $10 million. And he went and cashed that check for himself. He spoke that into existence. I firmly believe that. All cultures in the world have a belief.
Fuck Mariah Carey. I will fuck Mariah Carey. I will.
Hey, dude, you know what? Say it. If you want to do it, you have to say it.
It's got to happen now, not when I'm fucking 90. That's terrible.
Well, I don't know when it's going to happen. But if you say it enough, you can manifest things to happen, man.
But it's like that genie bullshit where it's like you wish something and then it doesn't turn out, it goes sour or something like that. Like
wishing one thing and doing something about it is something different. If you sit around and you just sit around and wish for things all day long. I wish that I could fucking have the time to finish eating my muffin, but unless I take the time to sit and make that time and make it happen, it's not going to happen.
How much muffin do you have left? You fucking finished the good part.
Well, I finished the good part. I got about half the bottle of it left. I don't even think I'm going to eat the rest of it.
The rest of the wrapper too. That's why you were sick. Your colon was dealing with the muffin wrapper.
Speaking of which, so the other day we were supposed to talk, right? And I've got digestive issues. I've had digestive issues for like 10, 15
Welcome
years
to the
now.
club.
Yeah. And so 10 or 15 years worth of bullshit. I got very sick the other day. I wasn't able to talk to you, even though I wanted to. It was like the highlight of my day that day, actually. And and I got sick, and I was just deathly sick, man. I literally thought I might die that day. But you know what? That was 3 days ago, and in the last 3 days, I felt better than I have in 10 years. Like whatever happened that day, whatever I got sick with, and it was. So let me tell you this: the night before, I didn't wake up sick that morning. I told you I woke up sick, but I actually went to bed sick. But that night when I went to bed, I told myself, I'm not going to be sick anymore. This is it. I'm fucking done with being sick. I don't know if the frequency, the sound, the vibration, I don't know what it was that happened. But that night, that morning I woke up, I was sick all that day. I slept all that day. 2 days ago when I woke up, finally, I feel great. I haven't had a problem in 3 days.
What'd you eat before you got sick?
Dude, I've been keeping a food log for years.
What'd you eat?
Just standard foods. Like I don't know exactly what it was off the top of my head, but it's been doing it to me. But I haven't changed anything in my diet because it's been like we've sat and like logged my food, logged the times that I've been sick and stuff like this, and we've done this for years and years. And like there's never like a common link. Like one day I might eat bread and like I don't get sick, but the next day I don't eat bread and I'll be sick, and then the next day I'll eat bread and I'm sick again.
Did you eat that muffin yesterday or before you got sick?
No. Okay. No muffins.
I was about to say that's a bold statement going back for the muffin if you fucking got sick from it.
Right. But no, it's I don't know what happened, but I attribute it to the fact that I just got tired of it and I changed something in my own body. I had to. If I don't know, I can't think of any sort of environmental thing has changed. No food thing has changed. No, nothing has changed other than the fact that I just said to myself, I'm fucking done. I can't be sick anymore. This is killing me. And like I said, for the last 3 days, I've woke up and I felt like fucking a champion. Like I have not felt this good in years, man. I did start taking a multivitamin 3 days ago.
Well, that's the nocebo effect. You know what the nocebo effect is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been able to do autopsies of people that have died from cancer and found out the cancer was benign. But since they've been diagnosed with a terminal illness, their body started experiencing symptoms of cancer, started getting
absolutely
And it's all about your mood. It's all about kind of willing it into the universe a little bit. I mean, I'm in heavy belief of that. You know, you gotta
Exactly.
have. I don't think it's as easy as like saying you're gonna win the lottery one day and then one day you win the lottery. I think it's more on the concept of like you have a different effect you can play on your body when you tell your body can do multiple things. That's why hypnosis is so damn powerful. I mean, people can stop smoking because of an aspect of people will be told to stop smoking. They don't need it anymore. That's
Hmm.
why hypnosis works. It's kind of like the power of suggestion. If we suggest that you have an amazing day today, instead of you being like, I will have an amazing day today, people will be like, don't fucking tell me what to do. Like we just hit this weird thing where it's like nobody's saying that you have to do this, but we're hoping you have it. You know what I mean? It's all about the words that we use, the language, the programming, all these types of things that get slipped in that we really don't recognize. We get so used to it and we wonder why we act these certain ways. Is because we've been programmed for so long to think this way.
Frequency, sound, and vibration.
Yep. CNN means Clock Network News.
Oh yeah, is that what that means? Is that what CNN stands for?
Clock Network News, like orange or whatever, Clockwork Orange.
Huh. Interesting. Right?
Fucking, it hurt my
Dude,
eye.
Stanley Kubrick was such a genius.
I'm pretty sure CNN doesn't mean that, but let's just go with it. It worked.
I don't know. It works, man. It works. It sounds like that's exactly what it should be. You know what
It's
I
the
mean? Like
library, man, where they keep the lies.
exactly. That's
Oh man.
funny.
It's kind
I
of
don't
like the Star Wars theory my buddy was telling me about. There's a bigger Luke theory that somehow during the movie of Star Wars when it was being filmed, Luke looks taller than the other Luke. So they feel like that there's two Mark Hamills. They replaced him halfway with a bigger, taller Luke, and then they kept switching them out in scenes. It's called the bigger Luke theory. And I started really reading into it. Yo, somebody goes, well, it's linked to the cosmosis theory, and then it's just like all these large words inserted. I'm like, this is a guy who just spent way too much time on the internet and created this theory, but it all makes sense. Flat Earth makes sense. All of it, fuck, dinosaurs aren't real. Birds aren't real. Birds are programming from the government. It makes sense.
Dude, it's amazing how many crazy concepts do make sense when you stop and study it.
People are
When you stop and
creative.
study fucking flat Earth, man, you almost cannot prove that the Earth is round, dude. Like it fucking that, dude. I've been down that rabbit hole, dude. And I don't even know, dude. Like I think it's a goddamn torus. It's a rhombus. It's something. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's anything that we're being told it is. I think that everything that we're told is a lie, and there's a thing called total. What is it? Total force domination, or no, total spectrum domination, and that's when you control both sides of a story. So no matter who wins, you win, and that's what the powers that be have done here. They've created so many like diversive issues between us, so many ways to divide the people, and no matter which side comes out victorious, these guys are going to win. You know what I mean? They control the fucking money on both sides. They control the information on both sides. And it's funny, you know, how few people are in the real know about shit like religion or currency or television programming. Or, you know what I mean? Like these are all things that we talk about and then they get dismissed and nobody really studies them. Nobody really ever goes down the rabbit hole to find out like how viable this information actually is and stuff like that. And then when you do go down the rabbit hole, you find that like there's no answer. Like the earth could be flat or the earth could be round, and there's no way for like anybody to prove one way or the other. You can talk about, you know, digital imaging and shit like that all day long, but you got guys that, you know, like the government is involved in disinformation.
The
It's
government
just a simple fact.
is pure true. They would never lie to us.
No, absolutely not. You know, the God, I wish I could remember the name of that dude.
You're like the guy they say it's that crazy man who sells oranges on the freeway. You're that guy who eats a muffin on a drill press.
Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna title the episode "Muffin on a Drill Press." Just people freak the fuck out. I'm like, what are you talking about? But it's crazy because everyone looks at that man on the side of the road selling fruit and says that person's crazy because he has some types of ramblings. But how much of his ramblings are true? How much do people get displayed to look crazy that are shooting off amazing information, but we dismiss it because we've been told that they're crazy? Who are we taking that information from?
Look at Edward Snowden. Look how much of the information like he like disseminated amongst the public, and he's a criminal for it. He's fucking viewed as a liar, as a fucking treasonist, as fucking, you know what I mean? And like people are like, oh, his shit's not. His shit isn't real. Go study the fucking shit that Edward Snowden fucking released, and study the shit that WikiLeaks releases constantly, man. You will find that there is truth in the matter, and fucking, but people want to dismiss it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to deal with the stress of it or whatever it is. I don't know why people are so dismissive of the truth, but it's like, they've been programmed to believe one thing, and as soon as they find out any kind of information that contradicts what they believe, they experience massive cognitive dissonance. And that's just where, like, it's a defense that the body has, that, like, when you're introduced new information that contradicts information you hold to be true, your mind shuts down. It goes into a state where it's like, oh, I'm not going to believe this, until you are able to rationalize through it and actually take the time to stop and think about it and what the person has said or the information you've been, exposed to. And then it starts to make a little bit more sense, but most people's immediate response is shut down, shut down, shut down. I don't want to hear this bullshit. You've been listening to the media. You've been fucking reading conspiracy theories. You've been fucking spending too much time on fucking the internet, whatever people fucking want to say. Simple fact of the matter is, we have limited sources of resources to learn from. And so you're going to have to, at some point, choose one side of the fence or the other that you're going to stand on. You can't just fucking walk along the fence and be like, well, the earth is flat and the earth is round. You got to find something that you believe in. What do you believe? But remember that when you choose to believe that, it's only a belief, because there's no proof. And that's the way it is with everything. You can't prove pretty much anything anymore. Everything that we've been told is bullshit. Dinosaurs. I was having a discussion about fake dinosaurs this morning, and the first ever brontosaurus was built using an iguana skull. They fucking took parts from different animals and put it together and called it a fucking dinosaur. And people bought it. People bought into it hook, line, and sinker. And that was the brontosaurus for fucking 47 years. until it came to light that was an iguana skull. Then it started raising questions, You go to museums and museums say, hey, we have these authentic dinosaur bones on display, but it's actually illegal to display dinosaur bones because they're fucking radioactive, allegedly.
Well, no, that's not true. I talked to a person, and literally during the podcast as we're talking, he had a giant dinosaur behind him because he was a curator at a museum. But the closest amount of a completion of an actual dinosaur is only at 97%. Most of the stuff only hits around 40 or 50 or maybe 60, depending on what museum you're going to. But there's key fractures in it that are completely missing that haven't been found yet. So the most that they have of one dinosaur is, I think, 97%.
Interesting. And I think that may be a statistics, man, are so fucking, like, you can manipulate them to be so many things in so many different ways. And, like, I don't know, like 97% of all facts are bullshit.
I think 100% of all facts are bullshit.
Most of them. The things we've been taught, and we find that out every day, like fucking new physics. Look at what they're doing with the CERN. I don't know if you're familiar with CERN or not, the Large Hadron Collider in Geneva, Switzerland.
Yeah, that people tried to get shut down because they thought it was going to create black holes.
I'm not convinced. I'm not entirely certain that it didn't.
Because
I feel like for 20 years they've been fucking working on like alternate realities and trying to prove alternate realities, and then suddenly in 2020 we developed this thing, like the common cold and the flu go away, but we get this thing called coronavirus. And at the beginning of this all, I theorized that perhaps we had entered some sort of dimensional rift where we had changed our reality in some way, where we are now in a reality where we didn't know about the common cold before. Because the coronavirus is pretty much it seems to be the common cold. It seems to play out like the cold is respiratory illness, blah, 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 blah. It's just, there's a lot of things about it. And if you go back and like research, like Google statistics for deaths from the common cold, there are no statistics prior to 2019 for the common cold death. So I don't want to get down that rabbit hole today necessarily. That's a really long conversation to have. But the simple fact of the matter is they believe we live in one of many realities, one of many universes. The new experiments that they've been, like, if you've been like following the news, the CERN news lately and stuff like that, like it's just been like nothing but like last 3 or 4 weeks. It's like new physics, new particles, new this, new that, new the other, all these new discoveries that are just coming out that are changing the way that we view physics and the birth of the universe, all this different stuff that we've been like, oh, this is it. This is, the theory that we established is the baseline for belief. And people have believed this shit for years and years and years. And now all of a sudden we're finding out that none of what we've been told is true. And if that's the case with physics, and if that's the case with everything else that we're finding out, like history, we find out every day that history, another part of history has fucking been bullshitted and we've been lied to about it. Some of the cover up has been, exposed every single day. We're going through this. And so we're finding out that the facts that we have believed for the last 80 years that have been propagated and perpetrated and pushed on us through school and through fucking and religion and through just like the people who have told us shit in our lives, we find out it's all bullshit. Most of it is just parroted bullshit that they have fucking heard and then repeated without having any sort of proof of.
Can I get an amen? I just want some
Absolutely.
answers on shit, but I guess the best thing is not having answers, because once you have an answer, then your mind can't have this creativity like birds aren't real.
Right. It's there's just, again,
there's just, I feel like
if you
there's
get to an answer, it's probably the wrong answer anyway. There's
I
a
let you
50% chance that
talk
no matter
for
what
20
answer.
fucking minutes straight. You let
Damn
me
it.
say I just get upset
Go ahead.
because I think there's this thing that comes when it's a factor of there's somebody at the head of the table. There's someone that like people talk about Elon Musk, he's so advanced. Okay. Someone's advanced Elon Musk. Much like when you talk to somebody, you probably have encountered a person on the street. You're like, how did this guy's so manipulative? You could easily take their watch. You could easily fucking trick them like a baby. Like you could manipulate a kid's mind easy. I feel like there's somebody in the higher up, like an Illuminati type thing, that is just looking at us like we're all fucking children. And whenever you see like these glimpses of people that might have these Da Vinci aspirations, they get flamed out or they get squashed out by this bigger source. When it starts to look like there's an impending danger, your best thing is to prepare and try to annihilate that danger from happening. Same thing with storms. When storms approach, you do your best to try and avoid it. You do your best not to make sure you're not going to lose anything. Same thing with this is that we can actually change it. If somebody sees an enemy force approaching, it's best to squash it out before it hits on top of us.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And, you're right about that. The thing about there's somebody up there that's in control of the information. They view us as children. They don't let us have the information that we need. They don't give us the historical information that we need to fucking put the stories together. They don't give us the religious information that we need to, it's all a matter of control. They want to control the information. They want to control the people. And that's what it boils down to. Because if you control the information, if I'm the guy who says that, like all of a sudden I pop up and I'm like, hey, I'm the world's leading fucking authority on whatever it is. And I got 10 buddies who can all have $1 billion a piece who all say, yes, he's the fucking leading authority. People are going to listen to what I say. You know what I mean? And that's kind of bullshit, because whether I could be sitting here telling you fucking all kinds of manner of lies, but I've got the backing of fucking certain people that fucking make it seem like what I'm saying is true. And so no matter what I say to these people, they're going to believe it. I led a cult from the time I was 17 to the time I was 23. And
what?
Yeah, I was a cult leader.
Where?
In Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Doing what?
Sitting on my ass and preaching the word of Luciferian religion.
Why haven't we talked about this? I'm sitting here saying we should start a cult and you're fucking laughing and going with me. Why don't you tell me about your real cult experience? What are you holding out on me there, Muffin Man?
Well, it's a time of my life that I'm not particularly proud of.
Well, I want to hear.
I manipulated a lot. I manipulated a lot of people. I basically I didn't work. I didn't do shit. I sat on my house like some sort of fucking guru doing drugs all day. And people would come by and present me with their wives, daughters, their fucking drugs, their money. They paid for my rent. They paid for my insurance. They paid, you know what I mean? Like if I wanted to drive someplace, I didn't fucking own a car. I didn't have to own a car because I had the use of any number of cars that I wanted at any time. And I manipulated a lot of people in a lot of bad ways. And
did you manipulate them, or did you try and because you believe that as well too?
Well, that's a really good question.
If you believed it as well too, then it's not really manipulating them. How many people think that there's a heaven and they're trying their best to make sure they can save as many people as possible?
Well,
I'm helping you out. I'm helping out. Did you take a bite of your fucking muffin in the middle of? Are you kidding me right now?
Oh yeah, dude.
Telling me all about cults. Does that make you hungry?
It does.
Wait, if bread
I
is
was
the
just gonna say,
Christ of is Christ's flesh, what's a muffin for you?
you know, Muffin is the flesh of the supreme gods, the elder gods.
I like it. I'm down with that. So I watched a video of a woman giving a massage, and as she massaged people, she was biting them with her mouth. That was the massage through bite massage. And I was like,
That's
oh my
weird.
God, she's just biting people's skin and giving it. And it's like $100,000 per session.
That's crazy, dude. And I would never put my mouth on somebody's nasty body like
I
that.
know, and they sweat, and she was biting their ass like an apple. And I was like, oh my God. Tell me about the cult. Get back.
Well,
Did you believe it?
so part of it.
Okay.
Part of it. I was confused a lot at that time in my life religiously, and I was looking for answers. And it actually, I have to attribute that time of my life. You know, I say that I'm not proud of that time of my life, but that led me to all the studies that have taught me everything that I know about the world today. Like it got me into history, it got me into religion, it got me into science, because I was seeking answers. But the people that were around me and involved with this believed that I had the answers. And so that's where the manipulation comes in, because I was confused and searching myself. And to convince other people that something is true that you don't believe in necessarily, or that you're not sure is true, takes a special kind of person, you know. And like I said, I'm not real proud of that time of my life. I was very, you know, I was a promiscuous individual. Like I said, you know, people would bring me their wives and daughters to fucking have relations with shit, you know what I mean? And fucking, because of things that I had said, because they believed that I was a person that I wasn't necessarily that person. You know, I claimed to be a messenger of God at that time, and I think I was. I think I may still be in some aspects, as crazy as that sounds. But you know, I think that each person has their own individual relationship with God. If you stop and listen to whatever God it is you believe in, that's what I was going to say earlier. You know, I don't care if you believe in, if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Buddhist, if you're a fucking SpongeBobist, if you believe in something, you need to be able to support why you believe in that. And that's all that's important. If you can tell me why you believe in that, we're good. But if you're just going to come up and tell me, oh, I'm a Catholic, and I say, well, why are you a Catholic? And say, well, I was raised that way. I'm like, well, have you ever read the book? You know, the first commandment of the Christian Bible is this: I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall make no graven images of anything in the earth, on the earth, or above the earth. In John 3:16, Jesus Christ says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes into the Father except by me. And in the Catholic Church, the first thing that you see when you walk in, you see statues, you see stained glass windows, you've got the saints, you've got Christ on a cross. These are all graven images. In Christian churches, you'll often find images of the dove, of the fish. These are graven images. In the Catholic religion, you pray to the saints for forgiveness, Hail Mary, or for whatever you need. You know what I mean? Like there are different saints for like prosperity and whatever. But Christ himself, who is the idea that the Catholic Church is allegedly based off of, makes the statement, you cannot come to God except through me. And so when you stop and read those words, you automatically have to discredit the religion, because the text that the religion is based off of instructs you to do the opposite of what the religion itself is telling you to do. And that goes back to like people parroting shit. I heard this, so I'm going to repeat it. I heard this, so I'm going to repeat it. And that's what the priests do. The priests at a certain level are unaware of what the true religion, what the true like binding of the religion is, what really is the meaning of the religion. They believe, you know, like most people, it's about praying to Christ, it's about doing this, about doing whatever. But then when you get down to like the real nitty gritty grassroots of what the fuck it really means, it has nothing to do with that. Like you're praying to false gods. If you're praying to a saint, you're praying to a false god. You cannot come into God if you believe that religion unless you pray through Christ. I don't necessarily believe that to be the truth of things. Okay, I'm not going to divulge my religious beliefs on the show today, but what because that's another, we could be here till fucking noon talking about that shit, or
Yeah,
8 o'clock
I
tonight, or
appreciate you
whenever.
sharing that
But
much of it. I don't want to dig deeper into it because I know that might be a sensitive topic and stuff too. But I don't see that you're at fault for anything that you did with that. You thought as much as they thought. I mean, even deep down, part of you thought and the other part didn't. You still thought about it, and that's enough to sway you to do the actions that you do. It's why a lot of people act the way they do over certain things, is they're in so much belief of it that they're just trying their hardest to do what they can to make sure someone else can think their way too.
absolutely, absolutely. Unfortunately, through my studies, I found that the things that I was believing and propagating at that time were not necessarily my true beliefs. And I have, in the last 20 years, changed those beliefs dramatically. Um, and it's because I did sit down and do the research, though. I sat down and started studying. I sat down and read religious texts. There are 12 major religions in the world, and I've read 9 of their texts. There are some that you just can't get a hold of their texts. You know what I mean? You're not going to get a hold of it. The Hopi religion is one of those. They're very secretive. They don't share their information outside of their tribe. Um, Once or twice back in the 50s, I think there were some guys who did some like translation for some of their stuff, but it was broken. And it's, when you talk to the Hopi people about it around here, the ones who are willing to share information with you, which are very few and far between, will tell you the book that was written about it was a lot of misinformation. It was a lot of poor translation. So, and they never bothered to fix it because they don't care if you know the truth about what they believe or not, which is kind of cool. They have their own beliefs and they believe it for a reason. And they're very, very tight knit. And what's crazy to me is that after so many thousands of years, like this is a 5,000-year-old religion. And after 5,000 years, we as outsiders don't know much about it at all. We know a little bit about the Kachinas, we know a little bit about their prophecies, but they're very secretive religion, very secretive people. And so there's like, you can't get the information that you want regarding their belief system, so it's hard to study that. But almost like I was saying earlier, almost every religion in the world, almost every major culture celebrates the fact that God, or some type of God, or some type of entity or deity spoke all life into existence. Even when you study like science, the Big Bang, it was a noise. It's called the Big Bang for a reason. It's not called the Big Flash. It's because the Big Bang, that frequency, sound, and vibration is what caused all matter to form in the known universe. So that's why I talk about, like the frequency, when we say things, that frequency affects matter. How do I know that? Because the Big Bang created all matter. Whether you believe it was the Big Bang or whether you believe it was the voice of God, I can't imagine that somebody, like, if there was a God that created all the known universe, and I say the known universe because there's things that are outside of the known universe that we don't understand, and that could be a God or gods or some sort of energy entity, or who knows what the fuck it is. But I could tell you what I think it is, but that's really irrelevant. The simple fact of the matter is we don't know, but we do know one thing, that it was sound, it was frequency, it was vibration. Every religion tells us that, every culture tells us that, and modern day science tells us that. And when we find that one common thread, like we find here, that's whenever I start looking into, like, okay, is this true? This could be true because everybody has it in agreement. It doesn't matter who you are. Scientists who don't believe in God still believe in the Big Bang. That's a sound. That's frequency theory. Okay. And so that aligns with the voice of God. I imagine if God was powerful enough to speak everything into existence, that it would have been quite an amazing sound.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't speak English.
Who
It would be
knows?
like some you're like, oh my God, I
You
can hear the
absolutely
Lord's angel.
right. Right. Absolutely. The trumpet of the Lord or whatever, you're right. And so, but yeah, it has to do with, when you look at that and you study that and you find that one thread of truth that fucking lies through all of the stories, then that's when you kind of are like, okay, well, that's probably the reality of the matter. Everybody for all of time thinks that. And we've never been able to disprove that. Other things you'll find that they don't align with, they don't agree with. And that's when you start having problems with like, okay, so now what's true and what's not? Wading through the bullshit to get to the facts.
I know it's
But there
true.
are, do you?
I gotta pee.
It's, we're going on a little over an hour. But
maybe it's my mind lying to me. I don't really have to go, but I'm afraid to risk it because I heard you can get some bladder infection problems with that. Knowing that I had somebody in my family have to drink cranberry juice, I'm pretty sure there's a problem there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's not something you want to fuck around with, dude.
The more you know. Kelly, I do know one thing though. I fucking love you, man.
I love you too, brother. I love chatting with you. It's been a good conversation. I'm gonna go finish my muffin, take it off the drill press. That's how much muffin is left.
I can't see it. You got to turn a little bit more. To the right.
Let's see here. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Bam.
So you're trying to lead Helen Keller to water. Oh my God.
There
Look at that. You got it in the drill press. Oh.
No, it's next to it. No, not quite. See, the wrapper's still there. There's wrapper between the drill bit and the muffin. I know what I'm doing.
Jesus Christ. All right. Kelly, where can people find you?
Check me out on Instagram at Rusty's_customs. So it's all one word, at Rusty's_customs. You can come by, check out the stuff that I do, and drop me a DM, hit me up with a comment. If you guys want to have a conversation, a discussion, I'm always willing to sit and talk, man.
And that it was said, and so it shall be.